Hello and welcome back to Pandemic Playground with Dave. So today we're going to mess around with the Harpoon some more because it's actually pretty fun to play around with it, and I found some other fun things to do with it. Alright, so what can we do with it? So initially my bungee didn't really work out because it didn't really give me too much of a bounce. So why not extend it like so? Get myself attached and see if I can use the hinge to go up and down to pretty much get myself to kind of bounce like this. So let's just kind of aim for myself right there and get rid of the jetpack like so. So we know we can dangle, as you see here. It doesn't do that bounce, which I wanted to bounce. And if we control it now so that we can go like this, we get kind of a bungee system going, not really too much. I think if you go pretty much crazy with it, it's actually not too bad. So you don't get that bounce like a bungee cord, which, I mean, it's a rope, it's not a bungee cord, so that's why it's doing that. But it would be nice to add a little bit of elasticity to it, because it would be pretty fun to do something like this. And of course we can spin it around a bit and go a little crazy. It does go through the grids, as you see there, but pretty fun when you can mess around with a rope like this attached to the person or some blocks, to be honest. So bungee definitely doesn't really work out too well. I think even if you had it in some kind of setup with some pistons, it probably still won't bungee you too much. So this is probably the closest we're gonna get in terms of a bounce for the person itself. Attached to a grid or maybe a block, it might work out. Let's give that a shot. Alright, we have it attached to a block. Let's see what happens if we take this off. And of course it's set up at 5 meters. That's why it's holding on so short, close to the harpoon. But if we did drop the meters like so, let's drop it to 100 meters. There, we have a block down there, and I think what we can do with it is actually bounce it fairly decently. You see, it does a little bit of a bounce, not a full good elastic bounce, but again, it's a rope. That's what it's going to do. So another fun thing to do with this is see if we can kind of put a seat on here. There. You put a seat on here and it just starts moving wildly a little bit. So let's get onto the seat. And oh, that does not look good. It looks like once you get onto the seat, it's gonna spin out a bit. So what I'm gonna do is kind of bring the camera down so it doesn't get too dizzying, and get my person onto the seat like so, and get into spectator mode. Oh, it looks like the harpoon just decided to drop, which isn't good. So that's a little bit of an oddity there. Alright, so that didn't work out, so let's try something else. Alright, so we have another little thing here. So it's a rotor connected to a seat system here, and the rotor is just spinning in a circle, and we can try to get into the seat somehow. Like so, here we go. And we could pretty much spin around and around in the little seat, but can we increase the velocity as we're sitting in here? Let's see. Let's go crazy. Let's go 30 RPMs. And it's spinning very oddly. It's not actually going fast at all for some reason, and it's wobbly like crazy. It's spinning just as fast as it was before. So let's try something. Let's get off of it and see what happens. Whoa. Whoa. So let's see if I can get into the seat. It's gonna be a little hard to do because it's pretty fast, and I don't think I can get I just got smacked by it. Get highlighted onto it. I wanted to sit in it at this speed, but I don't think I can. Oh, there we go. I'm in it. Oh, that's a bit dizzying. Okay, so what happened? It broke off once I sat in there. So I'm not sure why, but looks like I am flying somewhere pretty far in that sense. Wow. So the harpoon portion of it broke off. Yep, it broke off once I sat in it, so I couldn't get that the full spin circle on there. So that was an interesting little test to see how that works. So let's try something a little bit different, which I thought would be interesting. So here we have another harpoon, and we're pretty high up from the ground because I wanted to try out a personal parachute. So what that means is basically I'm gonna go harpoon myself. There we go, I'm harpoon. And what I'm gonna do is actually disassemble this harpoon from this grid or rotor, and then add a parachute hatch to this, like so. And I think we're gonna need a battery, so I'm gonna add a small battery onto this one here. We add a canvas there into the hatch. We are connected to this thing here. What we can do, since we have the grid pickup mod as well, is pick it up, jump off this platform, and hopefully the parachute will launch. But before we do that, let's program the parachute to do certain things. So what we want to do is an auto deploy at 1,000 meters. I think right now we are, yeah, we're more than 1,000 meters, or 1 kilometer from the ground, so it should be okay. So let's get into the hatch again. We're gonna say auto deploy at 1,000 meters or 1 kilometer. And it should work out pretty well from there. Okay, so we'll take this guy, we'll pick it up ourselves, and we'll jump off to see if the parachute hatch will launch and have a kind of like a personal parachute. We can do that in 3, 2, and 1. Jump. Whee! So we'll take that off the grid pickup, and we're just falling down. And yo, look at that. We got a parachute, but we're still falling pretty fast. And hey, that's working. That actually worked. It's a long parachute line, but it seems to be working pretty well. Alright, so if we took a look at this, the parachute hatch did launch the parachute itself, and it's attached to the harpoon. And that is a lengthy rope all the way down here to the person itself, or my character. And I'm floating slowly down. So I wish this would be a lot closer to the harpoon, so it kind of looks like a personal parachute. Because I know for the most part, like if you've seen in my ejection seat video, you can easily make a parachute attached to a seat and jump down from that way and float down. But I wanted to do a personal parachute such as this, and with the harpoon it kind of worked out pretty well, but not necessarily. This just looks so funny, to be honest. Yeah, it's a long line here, but it's actually doing a slow fall, which is actually pretty funny in this case. But it does kind of work to have a parachute or a personal parachute. I haven't seen a mod that actually gives you a decent parachute, as if you were like a skydiver or whatever. But if there is one out there, feel free to leave a comment below. I'll definitely check that out, because this is pretty cool that actually kind of worked out. I was actually not expecting it to work out, but I mean, I can see why it does, because there is definitely a maximum harpoon length when it comes to shooting the character itself. But I wasn't expecting it to actually slow it down, which it did pretty well. So hey, look, we got personal parachutes, but in a weird, odd, long way. That was pretty cool. Didn't expect that to work at all. So what else can we do with this? Right, so I think I found another fun thing to do with the harpoon, and that is a wrecking ball or wrecking crane, you can say. Not much of a ball. So I was playing around with this. I built a little bit of a crane system, or a wrecking ball crane system, which is running off of a hinge here with some slope blocks connected diagonally into a rotor system to a small harpoon, and it's all connected by this piston and with the hinges here. The piston itself, that's what controls the crane portion of it, up and down, as you see here. And I harpooned it into these blocks, which is the blast door blocks. So I built a kind of like a ball out of these round armor blocks, but they don't work too well because when you break stuff or you swing it around, the ball itself breaks faster than anything else. So I created not much of a ball, but a cheap, quick way of doing something solid in terms of something to wreck stuff. So I have here a crane system, and of course I'm using the same old script that I've been talking about, which is going to be the cockpit piston, rotor, and hinge controller. So I use that so I can spin this thing left and right and then go up and down with the keyboard controls. So attaching the blast door stairs onto the harpoon, and we can easily spin this thing around and go forward to bring it down, as so. And then we could attempt to break some stuff, basically. So let's see if we could do a wall. So we have a bit of a wall here, and let's see if we can cause some destruction with this wrecking ball, or wrecking crane. So bring this up, and we might want to just drive it forward just a little bit. That's good. And we'll just get in here, and we can bring this lower or higher depending on what we want to do. Let's bring it a little bit higher, and we can use the momentum of going left and then quickly swing it. Well, this is actually right, and quickly swing it to the left. So we just gotta leave that, and maybe not too quickly. Like we could do a slow. Well, we don't want it to hit our crane. We just do this here and see the destruction. Boom. It knocked off some pieces of it. So let's see if we can get a better view. Alright, so here we go. We got a slightly better view. So let's just bring this guy back. Just hit the wall a little bit. Alright, let's carry the momentum. Let it swing backwards. And then we go forward. See how that works. Oh. And it looks like I destroyed my crane a bit. Oh, look at that. I just opened up the wall over there. And we're just gonna keep destroying our wrecking crane there. But now we can just swing it. Oh, nope, we lost it. That's gone. Alright, so maybe building the crane system like this wasn't the best idea. It was a concept I was trying out just to see if it worked. And it kind of works, but with the wrecking ball kind of situation, if you hit this piece that's diagonally forward, it will kind of destroy the whole system. So that's the drawback of it. But I quickly reloaded, and we can always play around with it some more and see if we can cause some more destruction, basically. So if we had more things than just a wall, say those other crane systems next to it, we can easily see the destruction there, and I think this should make a decent hole right there. So it's very delicate, I would think, but if you want to bring it down to a certain point like so, you could easily swing this guy pretty hard like that. And you want to hope that it doesn't necessarily swing back into the wrecking crane or ball, because it will destroy it as it's getting a little close to it, as it looks like. And we can knock ourselves down or destroy a piston or anything like that. So that's the biggest drawback of this kind of crane system here. Alright, so if you want to see some destruction, we can definitely do that right here by kind of destroying all these other crane systems I've had here laying around. So, oh, it was too close and I destroyed my own little crane system, but still holding up. We can just swing this thing around, and we kind of broke that off a little too easily. But yeah, that's definitely some fun things to do with the harpoon and rope. Wasn't expecting it to work that well, to be honest, but it was just a random test to see what I can probably do with the rope. I'm sure you could do a lot more, but parachute was a fun thing to try, and also a wrecking crane with a wrecking ball, and that definitely it seems fun, but it's very, very dangerous to have because you easily knock yourself out here. I think if I put pistons here, because it looked like when I smacked myself with a piston, now the wrecking ball hit the pistons, it didn't break it, but it did flip the whole thing. But if I think I made this out of pistons, it might be a little bit better, more durable in that sense. But that was fun to make the destruction. If you have like a building you want to destroy, just for fun, just take out a wrecking ball, a crane system, and just throw it around and break stuff. Alright, so that was fun playing with the Harpoon some more. I'll leave a link in the description below for the Harpoon mod as I did previously. But yeah, hopefully I can think of more fun things I can do with the Harpoon rope. And if you guys want to throw out some ideas, feel free to comment below. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up, like the video, consider subscribing to the channel, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.